Y'all, it looks like Tamar Braxton just put her own sister on blast, and the gloves are officially off. In a shocking twist nobody saw coming, Tamar is accusing Toni Braxton of trying to steal from her. And the receipts are stacking up. We're talking secret bank moves, shady financial switches, and even a bankruptcy Toni allegedly tried to sweep under the rug. But here's the kicker. Tamar didn't just stumble across this by accident. According to insiders, Toni's own bank flagged suspicious activity, and that's when Tamar went off, calling her sister a liar, a manipulator, and a thief. So how did this go from sisterhood to sabotage? And what exactly did Toni's bank confirm that sent Tamar into full attack mode? Let's break it down. Now, we've all heard whispers for years that Toni's finances haven't exactly been squeaky clean. Bankruptcy filings, debts, court battles, the whole mess. But nobody expected things to get this ugly. Explosive insider claims say Tamar just discovered Toni allegedly tried to pull a sick move behind her back. And not just any move. She allegedly tried to get her hands on Tamar's money without permission. Let's be real. Tamar is not the one you play with when it comes to her bag. Sources say she completely snapped after finding out what Toni allegedly did. Talking lawsuits, lawyers, and even threatening to call the cops. If you've been following the Braxtons, you already know the tension between the sisters has been simmering for a while. Tamar has been at odds with pretty much everyone, but if Toni really tried to cross her financially, this could be the thing that finally blew it all to hell. One thing about Tamar, she's never quiet when she feels played. She's already telling people that what Toni did wasn't just disrespectful, it was downright sneaky. As for Toni, insiders claim part of her financial struggles come from always trying to play the role of the family's backbone. She's been supporting their mom for years, covering bills and expenses that her sisters wouldn't. Sure, Tamar chipped in here and there, but most of the weight allegedly fell on Toni's shoulders. Add in her love for private jets, designer everything, and a taste for the finer things, and it seems like when the money started running out, Toni may have looked for ways to keep that lifestyle alive, even if it meant crossing a line with her own sister. So between carrying the weight of the family and chasing that luxury lifestyle, it's not hard to see how things could have spiraled out of control for Toni. When you stack her already expensive habits on top of their mother's pricey lifestyle, it's clear why she's been struggling to stay afloat. And according to the whispers, she allegedly got dangerously close to running out of money. That's when things supposedly took a darker turn, because that's when she allegedly started dipping into Tamar's funds. How she managed to pull it off is still unclear, but whatever move she made clearly crossed the line. And Tamar, being Tamar, didn't hold back once she found out. But here's the wildest part. Toni hasn't even hidden how she feels about her sisters. In one interview, she flat out admitted that most of the time, she doesn't even like them. Not just disagree with them, not get frustrated, but that she doesn't like them, period. So if the tension was already bubbling under the surface, this money scandal was basically gasoline on the fire.
Love my family. Most of the time, I don't like my family. Everyone in my family.
Take a breath.
Everybody. I feel like I'm angry at everybody in my family. I don't like my family. If they weren't my family, they wouldn't be my friends.
And let's not even get started on the way Tamar has been dragging Toni publicly more than once. She's aired out a lot on social media, including that one post where she wrote, "Y'all have no idea. None. The gaslighting is crazy and I'm going back into treatment. But I'm so mad at my life. My family is toxic. I should have never went back to Braxton family values. Never. Y'all, I'm going through it. I'm single and sad. And this TV stuff is a lot." And that's not even the half of it. Tamar has Toni blocked like half the time. Remember last year, on Tamar's birthday, when Toni posted, "Wanted to repost the gorgeous picture of you, but I'm blocked again. Anyways, happy birthday, Tay." Phew, Tamar did not let that slide. She clapped back saying, "I block my sisters all the time. You work on my nerves, you get unfollowed." Then she came directly for Toni, writing, "Or you could have called gaslighting." And she wasn't done. She added, "Y'all gonna stop playing with me? It's my birthday. I'm celebrating with my friends and not bothering a soul. You did it to be mean like we don't talk. Happy birthday to me anyway. Love you too." So yeah, it's no secret these two have major issues and the dynamic has been rocky for years. So Tamar going after Toni now, especially over some shmoney, really isn't all that surprising. What is surprising, though, is the fact that Toni Braxton, an icon, a legend, the moment, would even be in a position to pull something shady in the first place. You wouldn't think someone at her level would be struggling behind the scenes, but the truth is Toni has a long history of financial drama. We're talking a paper trail that goes back decades. She was one of the biggest stars of the 90s, hit after hit, millions of albums sold, serious money rolling in. And yet somehow, she lost it all not once, but twice. The first time was in 1998, when she filed for bankruptcy. That news shocked everybody. Like, how does someone that successful go broke? At the time, Toni was everywhere, so the fall from grace hit hard. And it didn't stop there. The money problems just kept piling up. Headlines were brutal, the press wouldn't let her breathe, and it really started to take a toll. At one point, Toni even went on Oprah to try to clear the air, but chilly, it backfired. Oprah started asking the real questions about her spending habits, and called out some of the choices that led to the mountain of debt. Instead of owning it, Toni got emotional, accused Oprah of being mean, and tried to paint herself as the victim. It was uncomfortable to watch, and what was supposed to be her big chance to tell her side just made things look so much worse.
She's so freaking mean to me. I was in shock.
Do you take responsibility for the situation that you're in right now?
100%.
100%.
100%. I couldn't believe it because I loved her so much. I admired her and looked up to her. And she pretty much reprimanded me. And immediately, she made me feel this big. That moment completely changed my career. It made people look down on me.
Toni did manage to bounce back after that first bankruptcy, and for a while, it looked like she was finally on solid ground again. The music was still coming, the spotlight was still on her, and things seemed to be turning around. But the peace didn't last. In 2010, she filed for bankruptcy again, and this time, it was even worse. According to reports, Toni claimed her debts were somewhere between $10 million and $50 million. She said the breaking point came when her Las Vegas residency got canceled right after she was diagnosed with a serious heart condition. But that wasn't the only setback. Insurance disputes, unpaid taxes, and messy financial battles stacked up until her whole empire collapsed again. Since then, Toni has been quietly trying to stay afloat, but the numbers don't lie. The music just isn't hitting like it used to. Her last album barely sold 7,000 copies, peaking at number 163 on the Billboard 200, and the one before that only moved around 16,000 copies. For someone who once dominated the charts, those numbers are a major red flag. With album sales slipping, most of her income has been coming from Braxton family values. But even that well has been drying up. The buzz isn't what it used to be, ratings dipped, and without steady press or hit records, the pressure has clearly been building behind the scenes. That's why fans started asking the real question. Was Toni's reunion with Birdman really about love, or was it about survival? Because let's be real, the timing was suspicious. Just as rumors started swirling that Toni was on the verge of filing for bankruptcy again, she suddenly popped back up with Birdman. And this was after years of being broken up, no public contact, no hint of reconciliation. The timing felt way too convenient, and for a lot of people, it looked less like rekindling an old flame, and more like a calculated move to secure stability. And here's the kicker. When Toni and Birdman resurfaced as a couple in 2023, it threw everyone off. For years, she had been crystal clear. They were done. No maybe someday. No blurred lines. She flat out said there was no chance of a reunion. So when she suddenly flipped that script, fans were left side-eyeing the whole thing. Now, with Tamar speaking out and airing all kinds of dirty laundry, people are starting to connect the dots. Even before this latest drama exploded, the strange energy between Toni and Birdman had people whispering. A lot of folks noticed it during that super awkward interview Toni did with Tamron Hall back in 2022. She was there to open up about her lupus diagnosis, a serious, vulnerable conversation. But the moment Tamron mentioned Birdman, everything shifted. Toni froze up, avoided eye contact, and the vibe went tense real fast. You didn't need a body language expert to see it. Something about that relationship wasn't adding up.
I think it's when I was first diagnosed with having lupus. I was so down. I was so depressed. And the doctors told me I would never be able to work again. Your music career is over. But the man upstairs that had a whole other.
But it got worse. According to Tamar, Toni allegedly sold off her engagement ring from Birdman to cover some of her debts, and then lied about it by claiming the ring was lost. Y'all remember back in 2018 when Birdman proposed? He pulled up with that massive yellow diamond ring reportedly worth $5 million. It was bold, flashy, and had everybody talking. For a moment, it looked like Toni was finally heading toward that fairy tale ending she'd been waiting for. But then silence. No wedding updates, no dates, nothing. And behind the scenes, insiders claimed that ring didn't just disappear. Instead, Toni allegedly pawned it off to keep her finances from sinking even further. If that's true, it wasn't just about money, it was about appearances. She supposedly spun the story about the ring being lost to keep Birdman from finding out the truth and to protect her image in the public eye. And that's where Tamar comes in. She's now claiming that Toni's habit of covering up her financial messes isn't just about her. It's spilling over into the family, and worse, into Tamar's pockets. If Toni was willing to allegedly sell off a multi-million-dollar engagement ring and lie about it, Tamar is asking the obvious question. What else has she done behind closed doors?
Okay, you're engaged.
I'm engaged. He did good, right?
He did well. Right? Very well. Did it good.
The wedding kept getting pushed back, first delayed, then postponed, and eventually just forgotten. Toni kept blaming timing, but fans weren't buying it. Something felt off. Then came the biggest red flag of all, the missing engagement ring. Toni claimed she accidentally left it in a bag on a flight. The bag was returned, but the ring was gone. Now, Tamar is allegedly saying that Toni didn't actually lose that ring at all. Word is she pawned it to cover debts. And honestly, it wouldn't be shocking. Let's be real. Toni's history with money has always been shaky. The streets say she was in a tight spot and needed fast cash, so she sold the most valuable thing she had. That $5 million engagement ring. Fast forward to now, and it looks like Tamar isn't the only one Toni allegedly tried to take money from. According to reports, Toni filed for divorce from Birdman just 2 weeks after they tied the knot, claiming they'd separated only 2 days into the marriage. But here's the kicker. Multiple sources say Toni tried to walk away with a $160 million divorce payout. Let that sink in. Married for less than a month and already pushing for a massive piece of Birdman's fortune? Fans were stunned. Some are calling it strategic, others are calling it straight-up gold digger behavior. Either way, the math ain't matting. How do you walk out of a marriage after 48 hours and think you're entitled to $160 million? That's the part people can't wrap their heads around. Was there something else happening behind the scenes? Something Toni had on Birdman that we don't know about? The whole thing feels off. And now that Toni's own bank is reportedly confirming her bankruptcy troubles, it's no longer just Tamar stirring the pot. There could be real receipts proving the money problems are legit. If Toni really tried to finesse her own sister on top of everything else, that's not just messy. It's betrayal on a whole other level. Because if she's willing to run game on her own blood, who hasn't she tried it with? But one thing's for sure and two things for certain. This Braxton family drama is nowhere near over.